So we began a series of how we can build a chatroom application with our React Native as well as Redux, nodejs, and also JWT for authentication. So this a pre-example of what we started earlier, where a vendor actually has an app where his customers can actually chat him. Let's take for example, I'm going to create some username and also some password right now. So I'm going to start one with my name. I'm going to just put a small email address. I'm going to put a random password for that and also confirm the password. Once I hit enter, it's going to sign the user in and also bring me to my chat room. Right now on my phone, I'm going to create a username and a password. So I'm going to create that with both design skills. I'm going to set the email to both at gmail.com. Just put the password and also confirm the password. So with that, I will hit registration and it's also going to bring me into the chat room. So on my screen now, you can see that both design skills has joined the chat room. So this is exactly what we are going to be building. And when I say hi over here, I will receive that on my phone and I can now say hi Samuel. And immediately you can see that received and also the icons for the incoming and also for the sending are all different position, differently aligned, both left and right. So this is exactly what we started in this series. And so in this section, we are going to talk about the chat room section part of it, where we are going to design the UI for the chat room. And also, as we move on, we can see whether we can as well touch out the Redux and also the Redux action. So right now, I'm going to open my commander. So I have my commander open here. You can see that these are all the requests that we are making when we text a user or when we make a post request. So I'm going to switch into the folder I will be working on, and this is the folder I'm going to terminate every other thing for now. So right now we don't need this one till we get to the back end part of this video. So I'm going to switch to YouTube, see the chat system. I'm going to now start the app. So let's just give it a couple of seconds to start, then we can come back and continue. So guys, we are back and running. We can see that our app has started and we are in our project folder. So right now I'm going to create some couple scenes for our chatroom app. So for here, I'm going to create, okay, we have already chatroom folder and we have the chatroom index. So let me make sure that I'm in the right folder, by the way. Let me because I'm having some doubts, let me reopen this elsewhere. I'm going to close this down. So I'm just going to open that again. So we are now in the right folder. So I'm going to go to source, scenes, and chatroom. So in chatroom, we already have our index.js file created. So we are going to add some couple things over here. So we have our React, and I'm going to import from also React Native. So forgive me for typing that way. So the first thing we need is the style sheet. We need the animated for animation. We also need our flat list. We also need our image. And I wanted to import a yellow box for our socket, but not for now. Beneath that, we have to import actions from React Native router flux. So I have to close it down. So I'm going to, for now, I'm going to import icons because we are going to work with icons. or import React Native vector icons, icons. There are some couple things also we have to import from our native base. So guys, forgive me for this. Over here, I'll put the container, the content, the text, the list item, the left, the body, the right, the thumbnail. Let me format this. Thumbnail, footer, the title, the input, the button, the header. So we are going to also import some couple images that we need. So we just have to comment. We're going to comment this for now. For images, I have to import the boy from let's say to folder back to images slash boy.png, and also have to import the art, same directory. I also have to import the robot icon, the robot icon that gives us a shout out when someone joins the group. So it's called Lego from to folder back, and also Lego.png. One thing I forgot to import here is the touchable opacity. So that's it for the importations. Beneath that, now we have to type some couple cool stuff down inside our return state for our class. So guys, just give me some couple seconds. So the first thing we have to do is to wrap everything in the container, and the container is going to have a style of styles.container. Sorry. So before I continue, I think I have to focus on the styles so that I don't have this repeating of words. I don't really like it. So for now we have to create a styles, bring down our style sheet that we imported from React Native. We have to create a style. Now the first class name is a container. So the container is just going to have a background color of F8, F9, F8. So at the end of this video, this series actually, I'm going to have you get your hands on the mockup file, I mean the UI design wireframe, so that you can actually use it for whatever you want to use it. And you can actually see how we got to view this kind of design that we are actually working with right now. So we also have the Chatroom header. So this kind of for the CSS, I just really want to focus on this so that it's going to be fast for me and also very efficient, so that you can benefit this within a couple of times rather than spending 1 hour or 2 hours trying to do this. So we also have to import the the class name for the chat header icons. Going to have a background color, actually not a background color, it's going to have a color of HFB 1963, and it's going to have a font family of SF UI display bold, and it's going to have a font size of 30. It's going to have a font weight of bold. It's going to have an align items of center. That's for the icons. For the chat list, so guys, don't worry. Once we type the start typing for the markups, you will understand. Well, I call it markups. I don't really know what they call it for React Native, but I guess all these are familiar with HTML. So if I call it markup, I'm not that mistaken. So for the chat body, we have a background color of white, a border radius of 68, a margin left of 22, and lastly we also have a padding left of 22, of 30, let's say 30, not 22. So inside the chat body, we are going to have a chat name. So we have the chat name to be having a color of 95989A, and we have a margin bottom of 3. We have to make the text to be capitalized. Give a font family of SF UI display regular, and lastly we have to give a font size of 13. So beneath that we have to get a chat message. It's going to have a font family of the same thing. Let me just copy this down. Having a font size of 16. Then we can give it a color 2E, 2D, 2, and C. So all this you see me doing here was actually from our mockup. So let me kind of open the mockup, the design wireframe so that you can see it. It says vendor. So most of the color you see me using, I got it from here. And also for the chat room, I don't think it's on this vendor, but I will also make this available for you, so you can see that if I need a color, I just have to click on the text of what I need the color, then I can click on the fill, and it's going to give me the color that I need. So that's how I get my colors from my designs. Then beneath that we have our footer. So the footer is going to have a background color of transparent. We have to display everything in the footer to be flex. We have to give it a flex direction of row, and we have to align the items to center, justify everything to with the space between, give it a margin right, margin bottom, so we have to give it a padding left of 22 and a padding top of 14 actually, and we have to give it a padding bottom of 16, also a padding right of 22.6. So let me kind of save that, and now we also have to style for the inputs. In the footer is where we have our inputs. So for the input, it's going to have a font family of SF UI display regular. We have a font size of 16. We give it a color of 2E, 2D, 2, and C. Sorry, this is supposed to, yeah, so everything is correct. We give it a background color of 1, 2, 3 white, and we give it a margin right of 2. Give it a border radius of 10, a padding left of 15, and also we align every items to the center. So for the border radius, sorry, for the margin right, we have to give it 7. So last but not the least, we have the left. So the left is going to just display flex and align every items to the center. Then for the right, it's going to just have a margin left 10, display everything to flex, and also align items to center. So that's it for the CSS. So right now let's focus on the design aspect of this. So we have to make sure that this, once it loads, it doesn't bring us to the login. So the way I can do that is to come over to my app, go to my loading scene. Then in the loading scene is where I define each and every route. And I have my Chatroom imported. And if you can remember that we have the Chatroom key over here as our route URL. So I just have to come over to the animate scene. We want that once this is done, it should just bring us to the chat room. So let me save that so it doesn't bring us to the login or authentication scene anymore. So it's going to just bring us directly to the chat room. So that's it. And if you can remember, we don't have anything we did yet in the chat room except for the styles. So for the container, I have to create this once more. I have to bring down our container. So it's going to have a style of styles.container. Then we have our header. Our header is going to have a style of styles. We have a chatroom header, I think. So that's it. And also inside our header, we have the left, which is going to have a button with a transparent, what I call it, attributes here. And also for the icons, we have to bring it down, close it. We have to bring this down. Then we give it a name of iOS menu. We give it a style of styles dot chat header icons. So we already have the CSS typed down. So I would suggest that you watch at the beginning of this video to have the CSS in case you came at this point. So beneath the button, we have our body, the header body. So we have the title, have a style of, we just give it an inline styling of #FB196 and 3, and just give it a name, Chatroom for now. So let's save and see what we have. So while we wait for that, we can bring down some other things. For the right side, we have the button. The button is going to have a transparent attribute, and it's going to have inside of it an icon. So for the icon, we have the name of iOS close circle, and we can give it a style attribute of styles dot chat header icons. So you can see that everything is placed in order now. We have our chat room by the right, left, and also our logout icon by the right. So beneath our header is where we are going to be putting down our content. So for the content, we are going to have a style of styles dot container, and inside here is where we are going to make import of our flat list. But for now, I think I have to leave it and focus on the footer. Then we can get back to the content part of this, because for the content is where we are handling both the arrays from the initial data we stored while we open our application, or while we are grabbing our information from the database. So it's not just going to be a design, but rather I would like to make it that way so that even when we are working on the back end, it's going to be easy for us to work with. So beneath the content, we have the footer, which is just going to have a style attribute of styles dot footer. Then the footer is going to have our inputs, and let's close that. Let's have a style attributes of styles dot. I think there's a mistake somewhere. Yeah, it's double input. So let me save that. And inside our inputs, there are some couple things attributes we also have to have. For now, we have the placeholder, which says type something. Then for the placeholder text, for the text color of the placeholder, we just give it a random color for now. So let me just use 2E, 2D, 2, and C. And we also have to add a clear button attributes. So let's just add it to always. And lastly is the value. Let me just add some value. Then after the input, we have the touchable opacity. Inside of it, what you just have is the image for the send icon. So we can add an unpressed, but for now I think I have to get rid of this one, and now you can close that and save it. So let me refresh the app to see what you have. So it shows that we have some errors. So the error is coming from the placeholder style. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I added the comma right here. So that's the case. So we can see our animation, and we can see that our input and also the add icons are ready. And when we click on the add icons, the add icon, which is an image right here, we can see that it fades in and fade out. So that's it for the chatroom footer. Then lastly, we can go over to the content. So for the content, we are going to be bringing in our flat list. So the content is right here. So the first thing we need is the flat list. So there are some couple attributes that the flat list accepts. The first one is the data, which is going to be an array of objects, and also the second one is the render item. It's going to map from the object, map every value to this method called this render item, and we have to give it a specific key extractor to have a unique identification for each element. So we are using the item dot message ID. So right here you can see that we don't have anything in our data. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go to the state and create let's say an array of objects. So this is state dot data. So in our state right here we have the data. It's just going to be an array of ID 1, name of both skills. So guys, forgive me for that. Then I have to refresh the app. I think the app will now be fine. So we may have an error because we have not yet created the render item method. So it says that the of course, just like I said, that the render item method is not yet created. So above the render, we have to create the render item. It's just going to be a method that is going to bind everything to itself. We have to use the structuring. For the item, it's just going to return some couple things. So we have to return a JSS. We have to return a list item. So let me save this and kind of track where our error is coming from. So the error render item of undefined. So I made a mistake here. I added a letter A. So you can see that our app doesn't have any error again. For the key extractor, why we are having this error of key problem is because of the key extractor, and that's definitely because we don't have a message ID from our state. So over here I can add a message ID, which is just a random value. So you can see that the error is out, and for the list item is going to have some couple things inside of it. But first, you have to add an avatar attribute to this, and also a style of styles dot chat list. You just have to wrap everything in a fragment. Then inside the fragment, we have the left. The left part of this is going to have a style of styles dot left. And inside the left, we have to bring in our image, having a source of Lego. Then for the body, so guys, most of this thing I'm doing is because I'm using native base. So I would suggest also you check the native base, native base, let's say documentation, to have a deep understanding of what I'm doing right now. So inside the body we have a touchable opacity. Then inside the touchable opacity we have the text. The first one is the name. It's just going to have a slight light color. So the color is just going to be a slight different from others because it's actually the name. So here we have the styles dot chat name. So let me say Samuel Anthony. So let me kind of save this and see what we have for ourselves. I spelled something wrong right here, so we have styles, and over here same thing, styles. Oh, so right here you can see how everything got arranged. We have the Lego icon that's like the bots, and also we have the sender name. And beneath that we have the sender message. So let me kind of check something. I forgot to add something over here for the message. So the message is going to have the style of styles or chat message, and it's going to say I am a dev, subscribe now. So you can see that our name is slightly different from also I am a dev, subscribe now. So why you see this happening this way, that we click on the name, the message also fades away, is because we have this together. So I have to separate this, and when I save this once more, we are going to have that error out. So you can see that when I click on this and on this, that we have different things together. So that's it for the chat room design. So on our next video, we are going to talk about the chat room redux, and as the action. Then once we are done with that, we are now going to go over to the back end of this and have every logic set so that we can be able to make use of our chat room application. So guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as also the like button. Thank you, and see you on my next video.